Welcome back, and Mihaela is here, ready to share the rather wonderful presentation, which I've had a chance to have a sneak preview of. Mihaela, getting ready to share?
Can you hear it now? Is it okay?
Fantastic. I'll leave you to it. That
Wonderful.
was great.
And you know what I have to say with regard to this is that I think with regard to the flow, it's much better that my presentation is now, because the previous speakers have addressed some very, very drastic provocations, which I would call symptoms of a self-terminating society. And my point here is that we are actually addressing these symptoms from the wrong place, from inside the matrix, if I may. And it is not compliance, as Rohit was mentioning about the ESG and so on, and not regulation that is going to solve the problem. And with regard to the alignment problem, which is now a big problem in AI, it is not a regulation that is going to solve it, but an alignment with the fundamental values, an alignment of humanity with fundamental values. And what I mean by this is, so I will make the case for this in the sequel. In his book, Open-Ended Intelligence, Dr. Weinbaum, Weinbaum, and with this, I am also, I invite you to make a list of books which I recommend to read over the fireplace during Christmas. So he makes the case that intelligence is evolutionary. And I will add to this, building on further work, that life has emerged to respond to value, and that is fundamental value of the universe. And, regulation will harm the development of the open-ended intelligence, which is actually the purpose of the universe. And if we humans are the solution to an optimization of an evolutionary function, what would be the next step? Of course, everybody is talking about the singularity. But can we have that be beneficial for humanity, and how can we build it like that? And I posit that it's our culture, and the deep code of our culture is the answer for this. And that is, again, coming back to value. So wisdom is alignment to value. Just keep this in mind. His last book, James Lovelock, and we are here with the London Futurists. James Lovelock, he posited that our supremacy as the prime understanders of the cosmos is rapidly coming to an end. And that's why the symptoms of this self-terminating society. And as such, his desperate cry was that cyborgs are going to solve our problems, because we are not able to solve them from inside the matrix. So the question is, are we going to be able to get out and step out of the matrix? His book is called Novacene. It is the next step after Anthropocene, which is when actually humanity is at the top of life, at least as we know it. And Novacene is that next step where cyborgs are going to take over. Because actually where we are now and how we are developing artificial intelligence is deepening us even more inside the techno-feudalism. So my points will be, we are trapped in the matrix. We have to, and I'm introducing, which is not mine, it is Ian McGilchrist, again, another UK mind, valueception, which is recognizing the implicit order of the universe, and then that we have to embed universal values in artificial intelligence and not constrain it through regulation. So, if we look at history, Leonardo da Vinci has noticed that, but of course, this is a scientific realization that actually beauty is encoded in nature and in life, and the golden ratio reflects that. However, more recently, in 1948, Le Corbusier has started with this modern approach, putting the man as a modular, as a cog in the machine, a bad robot, which is easily replaceable with the smart robots, the cyborgs, obviously. So, and since then, we have gone on this trajectory with artificial values and departing from the self-organizing values of the universe. So the main point is that the map which we are using is definitely not the territory. And this denial of reality is actually exists to position humans at the top of the universe via fabricated values. So, and this has led to an instrumentalization of humans as units of labor. We build civilization based on arbitrary values to serve and control and power and enslave by the rich for the other one. And this also led to a culture of narcissistic fragmentation. So the structures actually on which our industrial society was built are rooted in a theory of control that diminishes our humanity. And we are embarked on a train, and as a scientist, I know that very well, in which science and technology is actually, devoid of value. And therefore, the only way to straighten things out are regulation and constraints. And actually, what we have to do is to stop this train, not to stop the development of artificial intelligence. What we design designs us back. This is word of wisdom from Inti Johar. And what he means by this is actually what we are doing in society today. We are optimizing for profit and not for wisdom, not for those values, which made us into a commodity for advertisers and food for the cannibalistic industrial, well, in general, especially pharma military industrial complex. And we're entrapped in these patterns of addiction. Technology is not values neutral. This is so important to understand because we are not developing technology with this in mind. So what I mean by this is like how we recognize our value in the world is through accumulation and consumption versus through a higher degree of consciousness and awareness. So if the ice cream is so good, let's have a triple scoop because it's cheaper, right? It's only half the price and has half the calories. How about if the energy is so cheap, let's consume more? What does it mean for decarbonization? And of course, our politicians, including the technocrats, they are trying to convince us that, well, if it's good for the economy, why not develop artificial intelligence from inside the matrix? And why not consume more energy, more fossil fuels? Because, the economy is what matters. So, this is, I heard from Max Tegmark, actually. It's hard to make someone understand something when their paycheck depends on not understanding it. So we are very fast heading in the wrong direction, as the previous speakers mentioned. So I'm introducing now very briefly this concept of valueception, and you can read, again, another reading for your Christmas is this First Principles and First Values. This is a 2024 book. The idea is that valueception is the ability of humans and of organisms in general to perceive a field of value, and that life's purpose is a resultant of a cosmic ability to bring forth something that can respond to its value. And wisdom is the ability to sense and act in alignment with value. Yeah, regulation shall be replaced with value alignment, while goodness stems from virtuous minds rather than from following rules. McGilchrist also makes use of Scheller's pyramid of value, where we see here which are the values that are aligned with this absolute value that along with matter, space, and time is intrinsic part of the universe's evolution. And those are justice, beauty, truth, courage, loyalty, humility, prudence. And I invite you also another reading, which is pretty big book in 2 volumes, The Matter with Things, by Ian McGilchrist, which actually makes this point. Another very good one, which is an older book, is Reinventing the Sacred by Stuart Kaufman, who is a MacArthur Fellow, and in which he actually makes a point that the evolution of life, all in its wondrous own is so awesome and stunning that it's God enough for me. So this God is actually that value which I'm talking about. And if you are more scientifically inclined, so the First Principle and First Values also is a more spiritual book, but a scientific book, which is written by Mark Lupicella, who is a NASA scientist, Cosmological Theories of Values, is strictly scientific. I really recommend it, and it makes the same point. So what it says, it's actually these theories are, number one, cosmological reverence, which is very, very similar to the sacred of Stuart Kaufman, posits that the universe inherently possesses value, that humans can derive a sense of meaning and ethical direction from that. Cosmocultural evolution says that human cultural development is intertwined with cosmic processes, and the role of intelligent life in contributing to the universe's of ongoing evolution, this is actually the role. And then it says that value emerges from the intricate web of connections and interactions. So we can encode this into artificial intelligence as well as into our technologies. It is all about the deep code. Yes, for example, for environmental value, which Rohit mentioned, how we think about meaning and worth and purpose. Yes, at a surface level, which is actually where Rohit needs the compliance. Not him, but the ESG guys, we must protect the environment because it is valuable. But metaphysically speaking, in the pre-modern view, nature is sacred and imbued with spiritual value. In modern view, where we lost the value, nature has instrumental value as a resource for human survival and well-being. And now the view which is emerging from these books and more, nature has intrinsic value as part of the cosmos' self-organizing creative process. And work by Michael Levin actually proves this. So he is transferring the intelligence of cells into nanomaterials, the intelligence of tissue into smart materials, organisms into nanorobots. And then so he goes down into creating these artificial intelligences, but he is looking at these cones or he calls it tiers of biological cognition, in which he claims, and actually is he is published and peer-reviewed, that actually intelligence is starting with the cell and it goes and evolves just like that, open-ending evolution, open-ending intelligence. So life and the universe is self-organizing to respond to this field of value. And this is something which, of course, many scientists have observed. And this is a book from 1929. I hope you see it. It's called Holism and Evolution by Smuts, which
just a few more seconds, Mihaela.
Practically says the same thing. So, and what the thing which I want to make is that we are entangled into evolution. And if we want to change the game, we have to move from dominion to disentanglement. This is my work related to that. It's also on organic governance. One more thing I want to make. So 2 more slides, yeah, if you give me. John Doyle also, for many years, he is a complex system scientist from Caltech. He worked on putting universal values into technology, and by this to actually save us from cyber security crisis and so on and so forth, because all the crises are crises of relationship, but actually also crises that we are putting the wrong values in technology. And this is also, now there's a very, very big dilemma. Yeah, do we have free will or not? And Robert Sapolsky from Stanford just published a book in which he says that we are determined. But we are determined by the values which the environment and how we grow up are determining us with. So we are not free agents, and it's very hard to choose. So therefore, if we will be determined by the laws of the universe, it's much better than by the fake, deceptive values which postmodernism has brought. So the point which I'm making, which is my last slide, is that actually now you see, and I hope you see that I am turning this, that human is up here, but now we have the super intelligence, which can actually help us in our, to step out of this self-terminating trajectory. Because if we are unable to regard humans as unique expressions of the universe's drive towards complexity, interconnectedness, and meaning-making, then the super intelligence, just like James Lovelock said, shall be better than us. And they can envision the beneficial future better than us. The Meaning Alignment Institute, and I can tell you at the round table about their work, is actually working on super wisdom, which means that kind of wisdom which transcends human ability to actually understand the cosmos. And it is rooted in inherent values versus our man-made rules with which we want to solve the problem of alignment and of artificial intelligence alignment, because all the institutions are ruled for the benefit of those who rule them. And with this, I invite you to the roundtable to show you the how, if you want. Thank you.
So, Mihaela, you have broken the man-made rules of stopping after 10 minutes. You have dazzled us with alchemy and provocations. Let's now move to tables and have another 9 minutes of discussion before we gather for some final sharing of ideas.